This is the Pawsible Care for Dogs. The podcast begins.
Welcome to a new episode of the Pawsible Care for Dogs podcast. In today's episode, we are exploring further Golden Retriever health, essential best practices to keep your dog happy and healthy. Now, if you're like me, your Golden Retriever isn't just a pet, they're absolutely family. And this deep dive is specifically for you, the devoted Golden lover who wants to make absolutely sure your furry best friend lives the happiest, healthiest, and most vibrant life possible. We've gathered expert insights and, the latest research to unpack the essential best practices for their care.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. I think a good place to start is looking at some of the more common health challenges that, well, unfortunately do affect Golden Retrievers. And right off the bat, the high incidence of cancer is something we really need to talk about.
Absolutely. It's pretty sobering, actually, when you look at the Morris Animal Foundation study. It suggests something like 60% of Goldens might develop cancer. That's a lot.
It is a surprisingly high number.
And they specifically mention hemangiosarcoma.
Which is that aggressive cancer of the blood vessels, yeah.
Right. And lymphoma, too, cancer of the lymphatic system. That sounds really serious. So for us Golden parents, what's the main takeaway here? What should we focus on?
Well, proactive care is just paramount. Regular veterinary checkups become incredibly important. Really think of them as your first line of defense.
Okay.
Because early detection, it can significantly improve the chances of managing these types of aggressive cancers. So don't hesitate, discuss any unusual symptoms or changes you notice with your vet. They really are your best partner in this.
That's a really good way to put it, having a partner in their health journey. Now, the sources also bring up joint problems, things like hip and elbow dysplasia. It's tough to imagine our usually bouncy Goldens, having their mobility limited later because of arthritis.
It is tough. And while, yes, their genetics do play a role in these conditions, it's not entirely set in stone. The information from Golden Retriever Health, that's from the Golden Retriever Club of America. By the way, it really stresses how crucial maintaining a healthy weight is.
Right. Less stress on the joints.
Exactly. Extra weight puts a tremendous amount of stress on those joints, which can worsen any existing tendency towards dysplasia and definitely speeds up the development of arthritis.
So it's not just about looks. Keeping them at an optimal weight is a real practical thing we can do for their long-term comfort and mobility, which naturally leads us to what we're feeding them, their nutrition. I mean, it's so tempting to shower them with treats. Those eyes are just hard to resist.
Oh, tell me about it. But it sounds like we need to practice some serious moderation there.
Definitely. The guidelines from Golden Retriever Rescue, their Mid-Florida chapter, has a great nutrition guide. Actually, they typically recommend feeding adult Goldens 2 measured meals a day.
Measured is the key word.
Yeah, totaling around 2 cups of high-quality, breed-appropriate dog food. It's so easy just to scoop, but being consistent with portions really makes a difference.
Precisely. If those puppy dog eyes are a superpower, like you said.
They really are.
But the GRRMF guide is clear. Too many treats directly contribute to obesity. And now we know the knock-on effects that has on joints and overall health.
It really highlights the importance of a balanced diet. The right proteins, healthy fats, moderate carbs for energy.
Exactly. And can't forget constant access to fresh, clean water. Super important.
Always. Okay, think of their food as fuel. Makes sense. We need to provide the right kind, the right amount for them to function well.
And speaking of functioning optimally, these dogs were originally bred as working dogs. The PDSA Veterinary Association in the UK is quite clear about their need for daily exercise.
2 hours a day. Wow, that might sound like a lot to some people.
It can, yeah.
But when you think about their natural energy and, sheer enthusiasm, it really tracks. Walks, playing in the yard, maybe swimming if they're water dogs. They really need that physical outlet.
They absolutely do. And it's not just about burning calories. It's also crucial for keeping them mentally sharp too, isn't it?
For sure. But actually, before we dive into the mental side, there's a really important point about puppies we should touch on.
Ah, yes. Good point.
The PDSA guidelines, they advise caution with high-impact exercise, especially on hard surfaces, until they're about 2 years old.
That's right. Their joints are still developing, and you really want to be careful not to cause any potential long-term damage by putting too much stress on them too early. Soft grass is much better.
That's such crucial advice for anyone with a young Golden.
Yeah.
Patience, lower impact activities early on, key. Okay, so circling back to mental stimulation, Pet MD has some great points about how smart these dogs are.
Oh, incredibly intelligent.
They're not happy just being physically tired. Their brains need a workout too.
Absolutely. And what's really cool is how connected their physical and mental well-being are. Regular training sessions, puzzle toys that make them think, interactive games is not just fun. It helps prevent boredom, destructive behavior sometimes, and it really strengthens that bond you have. And PetMD points out, Goldens generally respond really well to positive reinforcement. Treats, praise, lots of affection.
And who can resist that happy tail wag and the goofy golden smile when they know they've done something right? Okay, moving on to grooming. Sometimes it feels like it's just about keeping them looking good, but it's actually vital for their health too.
Exactly right. That beautiful, dense coat they have, it needs consistent attention. Brushing them several times a week is crucial.
For the shedding alone.
Huh. Well, yes, for managing the shedding, those golden tumbleweeds get everywhere. But maybe more importantly, for preventing painful mats from forming.
Right.
And a bath, maybe every 4 to 6 weeks. Or, whenever they find the muddiest puddle in the park. That helps keep their skin healthy too.
And we can't forget those lovely floppy ears. They need weekly cleaning, definitely. Helps prevent ear infections, which Goldens can be prone to because of, well, the floppiness.
Very true. And just like us, dental hygiene is so important for them too. Brushing their teeth a few times a week can make a huge difference in preventing tartar buildup and potential gum disease down the road.
Okay, lots of good practical tips there.
This is probably a good moment for you listening to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
Good call.
Okay.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about what we can do day to day at home, but consistent vet care seems absolutely non-negotiable. It's really about being proactive, right? Not just reacting when something goes wrong.
Precisely. Those annual health checks let your vet monitor their overall health, screen for potential issues early, give you personalized advice based on your dog.
Makes sense.
And those regular vaccinations, plus the preventative treatments for fleas, ticks, heartworms, they're absolutely crucial for protecting them from common and sometimes very serious illnesses.
Now, the topic of spaying or neutering also comes up. And it's interesting, there seems to be a more nuanced view emerging from some research.
Yes, the UC Davis study you mentioned earlier, it does suggest that early neutering in male Goldens might be associated with a slightly increased risk of certain joint disorders.
Okay, so might and slightly increased are the key words there.
Exactly. It really highlights the importance of having a thorough conversation with your own veterinarian. You need to discuss the best timing for this procedure based on your individual dog, their health, your lifestyle, all of that.
It really shows how we need to look at research, doesn't it? It's rarely just black and white. You have to weigh the potential downsides against the well-known benefits.
Absolutely. It's about informed decisions. But, on a more optimistic note, the ongoing research from UC Davis about genetics and longevity in Goldens is genuinely fascinating.
It really is. That discovery about the HER4 gene and its possible link to a longer lifespan. That's incredibly exciting stuff.
Yeah, the finding that dogs with certain variations of this gene tend to live significantly longer, like an average of 13.5 years compared to 11.6 years, that offers real hope for more quality time with these amazing dogs.
13 and a half versus 11 and a half. That's almost 2 extra years. That's huge.
No, it is. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, advancements in understanding a Golden's individual genetic makeup could really transform how we approach their healthcare in the future.
How so?
Well, vets might be able to develop even more tailored preventative strategies, maybe specific treatment plans, all based on a dog's specific genetic predispositions, more personalized medicine for dogs.
Wow. That's really looking ahead. Okay, so when we put all this together, it sounds like, yes, caring for a golden retriever is a big commitment.
It is a significant commitment, no doubt.
But one that's just overflowing with rewards.
Without a doubt. It takes a lot of love, sure, but also dedication and a real commitment to making informed choices about their health and their well-being every day.
So prioritizing their nutrition, making sure they get enough exercise and mental stimulation, keeping up with grooming, regular vet care.
By doing all those things, you are giving your golden retriever the absolute best chance at a long, happy, and healthy life right there beside you.
That's what it's all about. Now, I'd love to hear your own experiences and any questions you might have about keeping your golden retriever happy and healthy. So please leave a comment below with your thoughts, questions, suggestions, and any personal stories you'd like to share about your wonderful dogs. Have a beautiful day, take care of your lovely doggies, and we see you on the next one.